In a while, yeah, you were impressed. Couldn't leave me alone. Text me.
Hey, what's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, make sure that you click that red button, subscribe to the channel. Hello, become a family member. Before we get into this discussion, what we're gonna talk about, I want you all to share this video out. Make sure you click that like button and comment down below because we're about to talk about some real stuff. We're gonna discuss the docu-series that I watched over the weekend, and I'm pretty sure some of you watched it as well. When They See Us. This docu-series, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. And the reason why I can't sleep is because this is something that is real. It's not like it's a made up story, characters with a good plot, good writers. This is something that really happened. And it's scary because it's still happening today. When They See Us is about 5 boys, 5 black and Hispanic boys, who are wrongfully convicted of a crime that they did not commit, a rape that they did not commit. This docuseries it showed me that the system is really not made for us. It's not made for us. It's not made for our kids, our sons especially. It's not. This world that's supposed to be so free is not as free for us as it's supposed to be. And it makes me scared. It makes me scared. I am a mother of a black boy. And it terrifies me every single day. Now, I don't want to say that this docuseries terrorizes me. It scares me to raise my son. I've been scared way before this came out. And although I'm not old enough, to remember what happened, because, when this happened, I wasn't even born yet. My mother was actually the same age as them. I was old enough. I was 11 when it got exonerated. I feel as though we have to find ways to come together to continue to fight for our people, because this system is really not made for us. We have to find ways to fight. We have to do whatever we can. We have to do whatever we can, because we can't keep living like this. I don't want to live in fear of what's going to happen to my son when I'm no longer here. I don't. And the reason why I feel the way that I do, this movie, this docuseries touched me in such a way. And all of these stories touched me. all 5 of these boys. But the one that touched me the most, and I don't know if it touched you, but I know a lot of people were touched by Corey Wise's story. And the reason why it touched me so much is because before I even watched this docu series, I did research. And the reason why I did research is because I wanted to do some type of research to make sure that I could be mentally and mentally, physically, emotionally stable to sit and actually watch this. I researched the accusations. And as I'm researching that, I'm researching about these boys who are now men. But when I got to Corey, it was something that hit different. And the reason why it hit differently is because this was a boy who has a delay. And those of you who know me, you know that I have a son with developmental delays. So that's why his story, it just hit me in a different way. There was something that I seen on YouTube while I was researching this. And I don't know if you guys know about I don't know what it's called, something in Jersey. It's a show. It's like a news, like some type of newscasting, show. And they interviewed him. And when they interviewed him, I heard him speak. Now, some people say that he has a hearing impairment. That may be true, but there's something more there. There's a developmental delay that is there. So, and it could also be trauma on top of that. But there is definitely developmental delays. When I watched the docu-series and I seen the part where he said he couldn't read or write, I said, yep, something is there. When you watch interviews with him, you can tell that his intellect, is very different from the rest of the guys. The way he speaks is very different. He can't really verbally articulate himself the way that I'm pretty sure he wants to. And this is why this series pissed me off so much. I'm so disgusted by what happened to these boys. The system is just disgusting. This man who we call our president is disgusting. I even went as far as to watch the actual coerce and confession from Corey. And even then, you can tell that there was a developmental delay. And when you hear him speak, you just think about the fact that this boy who first of all wasn't there. But because he went to the precinct with his friend, because he wanted to be there for his friend. Those police officers knew what they were doing. They played on the fact that this boy was not all there mentally. They played with that. They knew that something was wrong, and they played with it. And that pisses me off. You can't tell me that there's that when you hear him speak, and when you see him, and when you look at him, and you can't tell me that you can't see that there is something that is not right. He doesn't understand. He doesn't know. And they played with that. And the fact that these people were still able to 30 years later walk the streets and continue careers and continue to have successful lives in books and become the leader of this free world, it just disgusts me. These boys were stripped from everything. Stripped from their childhood. From their childhood. They had no childhood. They had no birthdays to look forward to. These were kids. These were babies. Then you send someone like Corey Wise, who you know is not there. You say you know that he's, first of all, you know that he's not even on the list, because this is something that you play on, because this is another black boy to you who doesn't matter. You play on that. Then you send him to a maximum security prison with grown men. With grown men who don't care about his life, just like you didn't care about his life, nor did you care about the other 4 lives who you've ruined. But Corey, I just want to hug him, because I feel so hurt for him. So this was a boy who had nothing to do with anything. None of these boys had anything to do with it. This was a boy who wanted to support his friend. Wanted to support his friend. And because of him being such a good person, this is what he got. 12 years. 12 years taken from him. Taken. This makes me scared to die and leave my own child in this disgusting world that will eat you up, that will chew you up and spit you out. It brings back a situation that occurred with my son. A situation that occurred with my son, who was 6 years old. My son has ADHD. And autism. But the ADHD does more to him than the autism does. One day my son was in class, and my son has a tendency of wandering because he doesn't know any better. My son has a tendency of making loud noises and doing things because he doesn't know any better. And one day, he was in school, and, what, anybody else deemed as acting up, I know where it comes from. His teachers know where it comes from. They should know. But this particular day, my son was escorted out of his classroom by what he thinks is a police officer. It was a security guard. But my son doesn't know that. My son knows what a police officer looks like. And my son thought he was being escorted out of his classroom by a police officer. Now my son came home, and my son, he echoes things that he hears. So when he came home and he kept saying, the police officer came, and the police officer came, the police officer came, the police officer took me to the main office. All I could think about is, I'm not even thinking like, oh, what? In my mind, I'm just like, oh, he's just repeating something that he heard, because that's what he does. Until he kept saying it, and then he started to give more detail. It takes my son a very long time to process things and to let things come out. And more details came out, and that's when it was time for me and my mother to question the teacher. And she tells us, yeah, well, the security guard walked by and she just escorted him out the classroom. This is a white woman. Saying this. This is a white woman telling me that my black son was escorted by a security guard, someone who he thinks is a police officer, because he knows those uniforms, and he doesn't really know the difference. And automatically I was so enraged, and my mother was so enraged, and we told her, don't you ever do that again. My son don't know that wasn't a police officer. My son doesn't know that was just a security guard that was told to escort him out the classroom because he was making a noise. The fact that my son came home and kept saying to me, Mommy, the police came and got me out of the classroom, it still pisses me off to this day. This is a 6-year-old. My son don't know nothing about that. My son don't know what it is to really be escorted by police officers. My son doesn't know what it's like to be approached by police officers. My son doesn't know. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know that, and he shouldn't know that he's 6. And the fact that somebody was okay with allowing my son to believe that that's what this was, and the fact that this person was able to just allow herself to allow my son to go with the security guard who he thought was a police officer, because she couldn't handle the fact that he was making a noise, which is understandable, but at the same time, you are working with special needs children. And ever since that day, she never did it again. She never did it again. Because me and my mother told her, don't you ever do that again. That was like the worst thing that I ever, ever, like, it just, because it's just like when you hear your child who really doesn't know any better, who doesn't know that, and doesn't know that, like, no, baby, that's not a police officer, it's a security guard. But still, this was somebody of authority in that uniform, escorting my 6-year-old black son out the classroom. I fear for my son every day when he goes to school because of the fact that he has developmental delays, and he does things that he can't help. When you see boys like him, and men like Corey Wise, it's just like, these people knew. You know that these people knew. And they knew. They knew. They probably couldn't put a finger on it of exactly what it was that was wrong. But they knew. And they played on that. And they took that and they played with it. They took advantage of this boy. And it's sickening. This is something that should make every mother, every parent want to protect their child even more. You, we have to protect our kids at all costs, and we also have to remind ourselves that we're not always going to be here forever, which is a scary thing because my son is going to one day have to live in this world, this disgusting world, without me, without his protector, without his grandmother, without anybody, without his advocates. And I'm at this point now where I'm teaching my son right from wrong. Him having developmental delays, he has to be taught right from wrong. And I do it in the way that I know is best for him. I have to teach him right from wrong. And my mom, she lets things slide because he's 6. But I'm more stern with him because I'm more in the mindset of, yeah, he has a delay, but people are not going to care. My son is going to grow up still with this delay, and people are not going to care that this little black boy has a delay. They're going to see a boy that they feel is defiant, that they feel doesn't listen to authority, that they feel doesn't respect authority, and that I have to teach him now when things are okay, what certain things are okay to do, what certain things are not okay to do, what certain things are not okay to say, what certain things are okay to say. I teach him this now because I know that there is somebody and there are people in this world who do not care. They don't care. that my son, that there's something wrong. They're going to play on that. They're going to know that there's something wrong, and they're going to play on that, and they're going to play on it, and they're going to prey on him, and they're going to know, oh, we can do this anyway, regardless of whatever is wrong with him. They're going to see he's going to grow up with this problem, with this issue that he has, and they're going to see him, and they're not going to care. That's all I think about, is the fact that there's somebody that's not, or there's going to be someone, and it's going to be people of authority who are not going to care. They're not going to care. They're just going to see a boy who they know has a problem, and that scares me. And that's why I do my best as a mother to raise my child the way that I see fit. I raise him to be responsible now. I raise him to do what he needs to do now. My son has chores. My son has to do what he cleans up. He has to do the things that, you know, a normal 6-year-old boy would do, like clean up his toys. I give him things, a task, because I need my son to know. My son is very intelligent. My son is very intelligent for 6 years old. But it's that one issue. It's because he has ADHD, that one thing that might set him back. And that one thing that might make someone of authority look at him like a defiant black boy who doesn't care about anything and doesn't listen to anything because he just chooses not to, which is not even the case. But like I said, these are people that don't care. And I just want to be the best mother and raise him the best way that I can, because I don't want my child to be the next Corey Wise. I don't want my child to be the next boy incarcerated over false accusations. I don't want that. And so I do my best. And I'm going to continue to do my best. Corey Wise, right now, that man is a warrior. That is a strong individual. He's a warrior. And I commend him for everything that he ever had to go through. And he stuck through it. And he was determined. He knew. He kept his faith. And he knew that things were going to turn around for him. And they did. And you know, that makes me very happy. That makes me, it keeps me hopeful as well for my son in this world. And you know, I just want to hug him. I just want to hug him, and I just want to just talk to him, because he's a very intelligent man. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. He was around the wrong people. And when I say people, I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the wrong people of authority who played on this man's mental health. They played with him. They played with that. They took it and they took advantage. They saw something that they can take advantage of, and they played with it. And these are the people that we still have in this world right now. And I hope to God that one day that they are brought to justice, because these are people that do not deserve to see the light of day ever again in their life. Never. That is the end of this video. Like I said, I want you to comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And please, 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 please share this out. We have to start this discussion. We have to continue this discussion if we, because we've already started this. We've been starting this. We have to continue this. We gotta continue this, and we have to stick together, and we have to make sure that we stick together and we fight for what is right. So that's the end of this video, and I will see y'all later.
In a while, yeah, you were impressed. Couldn't leave me alone.